Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The pale blue envelope sat on the countertop. It looked out of place on the busy marble. Jamie saw the handwriting on the front and felt his heart tighten. His name was written in neat letters. He had a feeling this letter would change his life. He remembered a rainy day from a few years ago. He and Madeline were on their old couch, where they always talked about secrets and dreams. Madeline wore her favorite rose-colored sweater and looked at him with care. Jamie told her something he was scared to say. "Sometimes I like to wear women's clothes." The words hung in the air. "I've done it since I was young. I thought I could stop, but—" "Women's clothes?" she asked, her voice going higher. "Like what, my clothes?" "No, never yours. I have my own things, hidden." Jamie did not look at her. "I know it's strange. I know you probably hate me now." The silence stretched until Madeline finally spoke. "I don't hate you, but I don't understand. Are you gay? Do you want to be a woman?" "No, it's not like that. I love you. I want to marry you. It's just something I do sometimes when I'm alone." Madeline stood, pacing to the window. Her reflection showed confusion and something else, hurt, maybe. "How often is sometimes? Once a month, maybe? When you're at work? And you were going to marry me without telling me?" "I'm telling you now." Jamie's voice cracked. "I couldn't keep this secret. Not from you." The discussion continued for hours. Tears were shed, voices raised. Eventually, Madeline suggested they see a therapist together before the wedding. Jamie agreed immediately, relief flooding through him that she hadn't simply walked out. Dr. Peterson's office became their Thursday evening ritual for 3 months. The older woman in her navy blazer listened without judgment as they worked through feelings of betrayal, confusion, and shame. Jamie promised to stop cross-dressing. He threw away the small collection of items hidden in a box beneath old tax returns. The wedding proceeded as planned. Madeline radiant in white lace, Jamie handsome in his black tuxedo. For 6 months, Jamie kept his promise, but the urges returned stronger than before. During a business trip to Chicago, he found himself in a department store, fingers trailing across silk blouses. Just once, he told himself. Just this once, to prove he could stop again. The hotel room mirror reflected a stranger. The brown wig matched his natural hair color, shoulder length and styled simply. The black dress hit just above the knee, modest but flattering. Navy pumps completed the outfit. Jamie? No, in these moments he thought of himself as Jessica, spent hours simply existing in this alternate version. Room service ordered under a feminine voice. Television watched while sitting with legs crossed. Small acts that felt monumental. The guilt ate at him during the flight home. Madeline greeted him with a kiss, asking about the conference. Jamie lied smoothly, hating himself more with each word. The clothes went into a storage unit across town, another secret added to the pile. Years passed this way. Business trips became opportunities. The storage unit collection grew, dresses in jewel tones, skirts in various lengths, blouses in silk and cotton. Always tasteful, never flashy. Jessica developed her own style, different from Jamie's masculine preferences, but somehow still essentially him. The second conversation happened on their 5th anniversary. Madeline had made dinner, salmon with asparagus, Jamie's favorite. She wore the green dress that brought out her eyes. Halfway through the meal, she set down her fork. "I know about the storage unit." Jamie's heart stopped. The wine glass slipped from his fingers, red liquid spreading across the white tablecloth like blood. "Madeline, Let me talk." Her voice stayed calm, controlled. "I found the key months ago. I've been trying to decide what to do. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried to stop, but—" I said, "Let me talk." She pulled out a stack of papers. "I've been reading. About cross-dressing, about gender identity, about marriages like ours." Jamie stared at the printouts, academic articles, forum discussions, book excerpts. His wife had done research, extensive research. "I don't fully understand it," Madeline continued, "but I understand that it's part of you, that asking you to stop is like asking you to cut off a limb. I never wanted to hurt you. I know. She reached across the table, taking his hand. But the lying hurts more than the dressing ever could. They talked until dawn. New boundaries were established. Jamie could dress during business trips, at hotels, never at home. A specific budget was set aside for clothes and accessories. Honesty became non-negotiable. No more lies, no more secrets. The system worked. Jamie's guilt lessened knowing Madeline accepted this part of him, even if she didn't fully embrace it. She never asked for details about his trips, and he never volunteered them. They found equilibrium, which brought them to now. The envelope on the counter, the surprise anniversary trip. 4 days in Maui, Madeline said, entering the kitchen in her yellow sundress. Just the two of us. This is too much. The expense? Already paid for, non-refundable. She smiled, but something in her expression seemed different. Nervous, maybe. There's more to the surprise, but you'll have to wait until we get there. The flight to Hawaii passed in a blur of in-flight movies and tiny bags of pretzels. Jamie dozed against Madeline's shoulder while she read a paperback novel. The rental car waited at the airport, a convertible that seemed frivolous but perfect for island adventures. The drive to the hotel wound through lush landscapes and glimpses of crystal blue ocean. "We're not staying at the resort?" Jamie asked, as Madeline turned down a residential street. "I rented us a private house, more privacy." The house sat behind a gate, modern architecture softened by tropical plants. Inside, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked a secluded beach. Jamie set their luggage in the master bedroom, while Madeline remained unusually quiet. "Okay, what's going on? You're acting strange." Madeline took a deep breath. "Go look in the walk-in closet." Confused, Jamie opened the closet door. One side held Madeline's vacation clothes. Sundresses, swimsuits, cover-ups. The other side, "I don't understand." Jamie's voice came out strangled. The other side contained women's clothes in his size. Dresses in tropical prints. Skirts and blouses suitable for island weather. Sandals and wedges in size 10. On the vanity, cosmetics were arranged alongside jewelry. A brown wig sat on a stand, longer and more styled than anything he'd purchased for himself. "I thought," Madeline appeared behind him, "I thought maybe you'd like to spend our anniversary as Jessica." Jamie turned, searching her face. "You want me to dress here? With you? I want to understand this part of you. Really understand." She picked up a coral-colored sundress. "I've never seen you as her. Maybe if I did, it wouldn't be this big, scary thing between us anymore." "Madeline, you don't have to. I want to." She pressed the dress into his hands. 4 days, no Jamie, just Jessica. If I hate it, we never do this again. But I need to try. Jamie's hands shook as he held the dress. "Are you sure?" "There's a salon appointment in an hour, manicure, pedicure, the works." Madeline smiled, though uncertainty flickered in her eyes. "I figured you'd want to do this right." The transformation began at the salon. Jamie had never dared venture into such a feminine space while dressed as male. The technicians, clearly prepped by Madeline, treated him with professional courtesy. Soft pink polish decorated his fingers and toes. His eyebrows were shaped, subtle but feminizing. Back at the house, Madeline helped with makeup. Her hands stayed steady as she applied foundation, eyeshadow, lipstick. The wig came last, brown waves framing a face that looked familiar yet entirely different. "Stand up. Let me see." Jessica stood, smoothing the coral dress over her hips. The full-length mirror reflected a woman, not a man in a dress, but a woman. Tall, but not unusually so. The dress fit perfectly, the hem hitting mid-thigh. White sandals with a low heel completed the look. "How do you feel?" Madeline asked. "Terrified." Jessica's voice came out higher, more feminine. "Excited, grateful. I can't believe you did this. We have dinner reservations in 30 minutes. Think you're ready to go out?" Going out, in public, as Jessica with his wife? "I don't know if I can—" "Hey," Madeline took her hand. "We're in Hawaii. No one knows us here. It's safe." The restaurant overlooked the ocean. tiki torches providing flickering light as the sun set. Their server, a young woman with flowers in her hair, addressed them as ladies without hesitation. Jessica ordered in her feminine voice, surprised at how natural it felt. "You're different," Madeline observed over appetizers. "The way you move, the way you speak, it's like watching a completely different person. Is that bad?" "No, just interesting." She sipped her Mai Tai. "Tell me about her, about Jessica." The conversation flowed easier than expected. Jessica explained how the persona had developed over time, how she thought about clothes differently than Jamie did, how small gestures and mannerisms changed. Madeline listened, asked questions, began to understand that this wasn't about deceiving anyone. It was about expressing a part of himself that had no other outlet. After dinner, they walked along the beach. Jessica had to adjust to walking in sand while wearing heels, eventually carrying them and enjoying the feel of sand between painted toes. Madeline linked their arms, leaning close. "This is strange for me," she admitted. "But not bad strange, just different. We can stop any time. I can change back." "No, I meant what I said. 4 days." She squeezed Jessica's arm. "Besides, I'm curious what else you had planned for our anniversary before I hijacked it." They returned to the house where Madeline had one more surprise, a second suitcase filled with additional outfits. Beach cover-ups, evening wear, casual clothes for exploring the island, everything Jessica might need for a full vacation. "How long have you been planning this?" "Months." Madeline curled up on the couch in her pajamas. "I contacted some online communities, asked for advice, found a personal shopper who helped with sizes and styles. I wanted everything to be perfect." Jessica sat beside her, still in the coral dress. "Why? After everything, why do this?" "Because I love you. All of you." Madeline traced patterns on Jessica's knee. "And because keeping parts of yourself hidden was killing us slowly. I could see it." They stayed up talking until the moon hung high over the ocean. Madeline asked about everything. When the desires started, how it felt to present as female, what Jamie got from the experience that he couldn't get in daily life. Jessica answered honestly, relieved to finally share these secret parts without fear of judgment. The next morning brought new challenges. Jessica had to learn Madeline's morning routine, the order of skincare, how to style the wig after sleeping, choosing appropriate makeup for daytime. Madeline coached patiently, finding humor in teaching her spouse things most women learned as teenagers. Breakfast at a local cafe tested Jessica's confidence. Sitting in public in broad daylight felt different from evening dining, but the server called her Miss. Other patrons paid no special attention, and slowly the anxiety faded. They were just two women enjoying acai bowls and coffee. "What do you want to do today?" Madeline asked. "I hadn't thought that far ahead. What do people do in Hawaii?" "Beach? Shopping? There's a luau tonight if you're interested." The beach required another first, wearing a swimsuit. Madeline had packed a modest one-piece in navy blue with a matching cover-up. Jessica felt exposed despite the full coverage, hyper-aware of her body in ways Jamie never experienced. But Madeline's presence provided comfort, her casual acceptance making the extraordinary feel almost normal. They spread towels on a quiet section of beach. Madeline wore a red bikini, confident and relaxed. She produced sunscreen, insisting on helping with hard-to-reach places. Her touch was clinical but caring, acknowledging Jessica's body without making it feel like a curiosity. "You're getting better at the voice," Madeline noted. "It sounds natural now." "I've been practicing for years." Alone in hotel rooms. Jessica adjusted her cover-up. "I never imagined using it with you. What else have you practiced alone?" The question opened new conversations. Jessica described hours spent perfecting makeup techniques, walking in heels, sitting and standing with feminine grace. The lonely hotel room sessions that provided relief, but also deepened isolation. How presenting as female felt like breathing after holding her breath too long. "I wish you'd told me sooner," Madeline said. "All those years of hiding. I was protecting you. From the weirdness, the judgment. You were protecting yourself." No accusation in the words, just observation. You assumed I couldn't handle it." She was right. Jamie had made that choice unilaterally, deciding what Madeline could or couldn't accept. The realization stung. Shopping that afternoon introduced new dynamics. Madeline had always enjoyed browsing boutiques, but now she had a companion who shared her interest. Jessica's eye for color and style impressed her. They tried on dresses together, compared accessories, debated shoe choices. "You know more about fashion than I do," Madeline laughed, holding up two nearly identical white blouses. "The left one, better cut for your shoulders." Jessica didn't mention the hundreds of hours spent studying women's magazines and fashion blogs, learning through observation what she couldn't learn through experience. The luau that evening required dressier attire. Jessica chose a flowing maxi dress in deep purple, paired with wedge sandals and simple jewelry. Madeline wore green again, the color that always made her eyes pop. They were seated at a table with two other couples, tourists from California and Texas. Conversation flowed naturally, where they were from, how long they'd been married, recommendations for island activities. No one questioned Jessica's presence or presentation. During the fire dance performance, Madeline leaned close. "You're more relaxed than I've ever seen you." It was true. The constant tension Jamie carried had melted away. Jessica could simply exist without monitoring every gesture, every word, every expression for signs of masculinity that might betray the feminine presentation. The freedom was intoxicating. Back at the house, they sat on the deck, watching stars appear over the ocean. Madeline had changed into comfortable clothes, but Jessica remained in the purple dress, reluctant to let the evening end. "I have a confession," Madeline said. "I contacted your job." Jessica's stomach dropped. "What?" "Relax, I just extended your vacation by a week, told them you had a family emergency." She pulled her knees to her chest. "I thought you might need time to transition back. Emotionally, I mean." The thoughtfulness overwhelmed Jessica. Tears came suddenly, makeup running despite its waterproof promises. Madeline produced tissues, helping clean up the damage while making soothing sounds. "I don't deserve you," Jessica managed between sobs. "Stop that. We're married, we're a team." Madeline's own eyes were wet. "I should have seen how much pain you were in. I should have pushed harder to understand instead of being relieved when you said you'd stopped." They held each other on the deck, two people finding their way back to connection after years of partial truths. When they finally went inside, Madeline helped Jessica remove the wig and makeup, each gesture tender and accepting. The third day dawned bright and clear. Jessica woke early, slipping into a pink sundress and sandals before Madeline stirred. Making coffee in the kitchen felt surreal, such a mundane act, but performed as her authentic self with her spouse sleeping nearby. "Morning, beautiful." Madeline appeared in the doorway, hair mussed from sleep. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep, too much in my head." "Good thoughts or bad?" "Good. Overwhelming, but good." Jessica poured 2 cups of coffee. "I keep waiting to wake up from this dream." "Not a dream." Madeline accepted her cup. "Though I understand the feeling, this is all new for me too." They spent the morning at a botanical garden, wandering paths lined with exotic plants. Other visitors smiled and nodded, seeing just another couple enjoying paradise. Jessica began to internalize that acceptance, letting go of the constant vigilance that marked her previous excursions. "Can I ask you something personal?" Madeline paused by a fountain. "Do you ever think about making this permanent, living as Jessica full-time?" The question had haunted Jessica for years. "Sometimes. But I love our life. I love being your husband. I don't want to lose that. But you're not my husband right now, and I don't feel like I've lost anything." Madeline touched a bright red flower. "You're still you, just in a dress." "It's more complicated than that." "I know, I'm not pushing, just exploring possibilities." Lunch brought them to a food truck gathering, casual and fun. Jessica had grown comfortable enough to joke with vendors, no longer monitoring every word for pitch and tone. The feminine voice had become natural, switching back would feel stranger now. "You're glowing," Madeline observed over shave ice. "I've never seen you this happy. I've never been this happy." Jessica let the sweetness melt on her tongue. Not since our wedding day. That's both wonderful and heartbreaking. The afternoon brought a surprise. Madeline had booked a photography session, something she'd apparently arranged weeks in advance. The photographer, a local woman named Lonnie, specialized in couples' portraits. "I wanted memories," Madeline explained as they arrived at the scenic location. "Real ones, not hidden ones." Lonnie proved professional and warm, directing them through poses against backdrops of ocean and cliffs. Jessica's initial self-consciousness faded as the session progressed. These weren't costume photos or hidden snapshots. They were real portraits of two people in love. "You two have amazing chemistry," Lonnie commented while adjusting her camera. "How long have you been together?" 8 years, they answered in unison, then laughed. The resulting images captured something Jessica had never thought possible. Herself, fully realized, with the woman she loved. No hiding, no shame, just truth preserved in pixels. Evening found them at a different beach, this one known for spectacular sunsets. They'd packed a picnic, wine, cheese, fruit, crusty bread, simple foods that tasted extraordinary in the moment. Jessica wore a white sundress that caught the breeze, feeling like something from a movie she'd never dared imagine starring in. "I need to tell you something," Madeline said as colors painted the sky. "These past few days, I understand now why you need this, why stopping was killing you slowly." "Madeline, let me finish. I'm not attracted to women. That hasn't changed. But I'm attracted to you, to your happiness, to seeing you whole instead of fragmented." She poured more wine. "I don't know what that means for our future, but I know I don't want you to hide anymore. I don't want to lose you. You won't. We'll figure it out together." Madeline raised her glass. "To honesty, finally." They toasted as the sun slipped below the horizon. Walking back to the car required flashlights, Jessica grateful for flat sandals after the previous evening's heel adventure. Sand clung to their feet despite best efforts, adding texture to the evening's sensory memories. The final full day arrived too quickly. Jessica woke with melancholy already settling in, knowing this magical interlude was ending. The brown wig felt as natural as her own hair now. The makeup routine had become meditation. Even choosing clothes sparked joy instead of anxiety. "What's wrong?" Madeline asked over breakfast. "Tomorrow I go back to being Jamie." "Do you have to?" Jessica looked up sharply. "What do you mean?" "I mean..." Madeline pushed eggs around her plate. "What if we extended this experiment? Not forever, necessarily, but longer than just this trip. How would that work? My job, our families, our friends. I'm not suggesting you show up to work in a dress tomorrow, but maybe weekends or certain evenings. We could create space for Jessica in our real life, not just vacations." The possibility had never occurred to Jessica. Crossdressing had always meant isolation, secrecy, shame. Integrating it into daily life seemed impossible. Yet here sat Madeline, suggesting exactly that. "You've really thought about this?" "I've done nothing but think about it for 3 days." Madeline reached across the table. "Seeing you happy makes me happy. It's that simple." They spent their last day being tourists, visiting Pearl Harbor, shopping for souvenirs, taking too many photos. Jessica wore a blue tank top with a white skirt, casual but feminine. The outfit felt appropriate for activities, neither over nor underdressed. She'd learned to calibrate presentation to context, something that would serve her well if Madeline's suggestion became reality. "I want to try something," Madeline announced at a swimwear shop. "Pick out a bikini." "I couldn't. Just to own. For maybe someday." She grinned. "Consider it a goal." Jessica browsed nervously, eventually selecting a modest 2-piece in black with decorative straps. The idea of wearing it seemed impossible, but Madeline's faith made anything feel achievable. Their final dinner was intimate, room service on their private deck, dress code optional. Jessica chose the coral dress from the first night, coming full circle. Madeline wore a flowing white skirt with a blue halter top. They looked like any other couple enjoying a romantic evening, which was exactly what they were. "I've been thinking about what you said. Jessica began over dessert. "About making space for this at home. And I'm scared, but also hopeful. If you really think we could make it work. We'll take it slow. Maybe start with just evenings at home. See how it feels." Madeline licked chocolate from her spoon. "I've already been researching support groups. For partners, I mean, to help me understand better." The thoughtfulness continued to astound. Madeline had approached this like she did everything, with research, planning, and determination to succeed. Jessica felt unworthy of such dedication, but grateful beyond words. "There's something else," Madeline continued. "I think we should tell Marcus and Diana." Jessica nearly choked on wine. Their best friends, the couple they'd known since college. "Are you insane? Hear me out. They love us. They've noticed something's been off between us for years. Diana keeps asking if we're okay." Madeline set down her spoon. "If we're going to do this, really do this, we need some people who know, who can support us." The logic was sound but terrifying. Coming out to Madeline had been hard enough. Expanding the circle of knowledge felt like stepping off a cliff. But then, this whole trip had been one long fall into the unknown, and they'd landed somewhere beautiful. "Maybe, let me think about it." "Of course, no pressure." Madeline smiled. "Though I bet Diana would love having someone who actually appreciates her shoe collection." They laughed, the tension breaking. The rest of the evening passed in comfortable conversation, planning hypothetical futures where Jessica existed beyond hotel rooms and tropical vacations. Each scenario seemed more possible than the last, Madeline's acceptance creating space for dreams to take root. Their last morning in paradise arrived with rain, fitting the melancholy mood. Jessica packed slowly, each dress folded with care. The wig went into its traveling case, makeup organized into bags. 4 days of accumulated life compressed back into luggage. "Keep the coral dress out," Madeline suggested, "for the flight home." "Really? You want me to fly as Jessica?" "Why not? You have ID that matches, and I'm not ready to say goodbye to her yet." So Jessica dressed one last time in the coral sundress, applying makeup while rain pattered against windows. The mirror reflected someone different from that first nervous evening, more confident, more complete. Still the same person, but no longer fragmented. The drive to the airport was quiet, both lost in thought. Returning the rental car, checking luggage, passing through security, all accomplished without incident. Jessica had grown so comfortable that she forgot to be nervous, just another woman heading home from vacation. On the plane, Madeline dozed against Jessica's shoulder again. But this time, Jessica stayed awake, staring out at clouds and ocean below. In a few hours, they'd land back in reality. Decisions would need to be made. Difficult conversations would happen. The magic of these 4 days would be tested against the mundane pressures of daily life. But for now, she existed in liminal space, between vacation and home, between personas, between who she'd been and who she might become. Madeline stirred, murmuring something incomprehensible. Jessica adjusted the blanket over her wife, overwhelmed again by gratitude for this unexpected gift. The plane began its descent. Below, familiar landscapes appeared through gaps in clouds. Home, where Jamie's clothes waited in the closet, where neighbors knew them as husband and wife, where jobs and families and social obligations created a web of expectations. "You okay?" Madeline asked, awake now. "Nervous? About going back? We'll figure it out together, remember? Team." She squeezed Jessica's hand. "And hey, if nothing else, you now have a fabulous vacation wardrobe for next time." Next time. The words sparked hope. This didn't have to be an ending. It could be a beginning. The plane touched down smoothly, passengers applauding despite the ordinary landing. But for Jessica, nothing about this return felt ordinary. Baggage claim, finding their car in long-term parking, driving familiar streets. Each transition moved them closer to decisions that couldn't be postponed. As they pulled into their driveway, Madeline turned to face her. "Before we go inside, I want you to know something. These 4 days, they've been some of the happiest of our marriage. Seeing you free, seeing you whole, it's worth any awkwardness or challenges ahead." She cupped Jessica's face. I love you. All of you. Never doubt that. They kissed in the car like teenagers, makeup be damned. When they finally broke apart, Jessica was crying again, overwhelmed by possibility and acceptance and love so profound it defied expression. Inside, the house felt different. Or maybe Jessica felt different within it. The coral dress hung in the bedroom closet beside Jamie's work shirts, a splash of color that promised change. Madeline made tea while Jessica removed the wig and cleaned off makeup, each action a small goodbye to the woman she'd been for 4 magical days. But not goodbye forever. On the dresser sat a printed email. Madeline had ordered more clothes online, scheduled to arrive throughout the week. Small acts of revolution disguised as packages from Amazon, the future taking shape one dress at a time. That night, lying in bed, they talked until dawn again. About boundaries and possibilities. About telling friends or keeping secrets a little longer. About the difference between cross-dressing and something deeper. Something Jessica couldn't quite name yet, but felt pulling at her with increasing strength. Whatever happens, Madeline whispered, as morning light crept through curtains. We face it together. No more hiding, no more half-truths, just us, figuring out what our marriage looks like when everyone gets to be themselves. Jamie went to work Monday morning in his gray suit and blue tie, brown hair cut short and masculine. But in his laptop bag, tucked between quarterly reports, lay a photo from Hawaii, 2 women laughing on a beach, radiantly happy. A promise and a memory. Evidence that transformation was possible, that love could expand to encompass all versions of self.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.